The execution was scheduled for noon, Standard Galactic Time. High Imperator Vor of the Galactic Empire had insisted it be broadcast across all channels, on all worlds, to every sentient being in their domain, a lesson he called it, a demonstration of power. It brought the human girl to the central plaza of the Imperial Palace on Nexus Prime. She was small, even for a human, 16 years by Earth standards, though many in the watching crowd had no concept of such measurements. Her name was Kate, though the Empire's announcer didn't bother to say it. To them, she was simply the insurgent, or more commonly, the human filth. Her crime had been speaking. 3 weeks earlier, she had stood in this same plaza and read aloud from Earth's ancient declarations of rights. She had spoken of freedom and dignity for all sentient beings. Most dangerously, she had questioned the divine right of the Galactic Emperor to rule all known space. The plaza fell silent as Kate was led to the raised platform. Her hands were bound, but she walked steadily, her eyes clear and unafraid. The Imperial Guard captain grabbed her by the shoulder and forced her to kneel before the holovid transmitters. Billions watched across 20,000 worlds. High Imperator Vor stepped forward, his ceremonial armor gleaming under the twin suns of Nexus Prime. Let this serve as a reminder. His voice boomed across the plaza and into homes and gathering places throughout the galaxy. Dissent is treason. Treason is death. Kate looked directly into the primary transmitter. The guard moved to force her gaze down, but Vor stopped him with a gesture. "Let her look," he said. "Let them all see the fear in a human's eyes before death." But there was no fear in Kate's eyes, only certainty. "They're awake now," she said quietly. Vor laughed. "Your final words are wasted, human. No one will remember them." "They weren't meant for you," Kate replied. The particle beam that ended her life was swift and blinding. The transmission cut immediately after, switching to the Imperial emblem. Throughout the galaxy, viewers sat in silence, shock, or satisfaction, depending on their loyalties. What no one knew then was that Kate's execution had been precisely timed. Admiral Wilson of Earth's Hidden Fleet received confirmation of the execution 22 seconds after it occurred. The quantum relay flashed once, indicating the predetermined signal had been received. "She's gone," he said to the assembled commanders in the stealth carrier's war room. No one spoke. Many had known Kate personally. She was Admiral Wilson's niece. "Begin the operation," Wilson finally said, his voice steady despite everything. "All ships, execute Protocol Lazarus." Throughout the galaxy and systems the Empire believed were uninhabited or thoroughly subjugated, hidden human vessels powered up their drives. Earth had been conquered 60 years ago, its population reduced to slaves and servants, but humanity had not been broken. They had merely gone underground, building and waiting. Kate had been their signal. Her sacrifice, volunteered and meticulously planned, was the trigger for everything that followed. On Nexus Prime, the first indication that something was wrong came exactly 7 minutes after Kate's execution. The planetary defense grid, considered impenetrable, suddenly went dark. Communications followed 3 seconds later. High Imperator Vor was still in the plaza when his personal guards received the alert. Before they could move him to safety, the sky above the Imperial Palace darkened with ships, hundreds of them, appearing from nowhere as their quantum stealth systems deactivated simultaneously. They weren't warships in the traditional sense. The Empire had expected those, had prepared for those. These were mining vessels, cargo haulers, and passenger liners, civilian craft converted for a single purpose. Each carried a payload of quantum-entangled displacement bombs, a technology the Empire had no knowledge of, developed in secret by humans who had been dismissed as primitive and unimaginative. The first wave hit the Imperial Palace 13 minutes after Kate's execution. The displacement bombs didn't destroy, they relocated. Chunks of the palace, Imperial guards, and even High Imperator Vor himself were instantly transported to predetermined coordinates in deep space, far from any star system or rescue. Similar scenes unfolded across every major Imperial stronghold. The carefully planned operation had been decades in preparation. Sleeper agents activated systems that disabled defenses from within. Supposedly loyal alien allies revealed themselves as sympathizers to the human cause. Quantum communications that the Empire couldn't detect or interrupt coordinated the simultaneous assault across thousands of light years. 25 minutes after Kate's execution, Emperor Zul received the news that half his empire was no longer under his control. He ordered his personal dreadnought prepared for immediate evacuation from the Imperial throne world. He never reached it. 27 minutes after Kate's execution, Admiral Wilson himself led the assault on the Emperor's inner sanctum. Unlike the other operations, this one was not remote or automated. Wilson had insisted on facing the Emperor in person. The humans had planned for resistance for a desperate last stand by the Emperor's elite guards. What they'd found instead was chaos and surrender. The imperial might that had dominated the galaxy for 3 millennia collapsed, not with a grand battle, but with whimpers and pleas for mercy. Emperor Zul was found cowering in his private chambers, stripped of his ceremonial armor, looking small and frightened in simple robes. He had ruled billions with cruelty and indifference. He had ordered the deaths of entire species. He had personally signed the order for Kate's execution. "Do you remember her?" Wilson asked, standing over the fallen emperor. "The girl you killed today?" "There have been so many," the emperor whispered. "Her name was Kate," Wilson said. "She was 16 years old. She knew you would kill her. She volunteered anyway." "If you kill me, you become what you claim to hate," the emperor said. Wilson shook his head. "We're not going to kill you. Kate wouldn't have wanted that." Instead, they took the emperor to Earth, to the labor camps where humans had toiled for decades. He would live among those he had oppressed, protected from harm but stripped of all power and privilege. The story spread throughout the galaxy, how a single human girl had stared death in the face without fear, how her execution had triggered the most precisely coordinated military operation in galactic history, and how the seemingly invincible galactic empire had fallen in just 27 minutes. The galaxy would remember her name after all. Hate became a symbol not of fear, as the empire had intended, but of the extraordinary lengths one species would go to for freedom, how one girl had willingly given her life as part of a plan to liberate not just humanity, but all sentient beings suffering under imperial rule. In the new galactic coalition that followed, a simple motto was adopted, taken from the last message Kate had secretly transmitted before her capture. "Some things are worth dying for. More things are worth living for. Find the difference, and you'll understand freedom."